come. My goal that when we're done this class is that if you've got some understanding of what wealth is and what wealth means to you, that you're going to have more clarity around that. That's like ultimately the goal, because you'll probably remember what 10% or 15% of what's said here. So my goal is that you walk away here like, oh my gosh, and it causes you to think differently about choices you're going to make, and because you have clarity around what you're trying to get. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So that's my goal for you, and I'd love to know if we accomplished those things and my goal at the end. Okay, so I'm going to start kind of 10,000 foot view on where we're going to get, but it's going to go fast. So if you want me to stop, you get notes. I'm happy to stop. I'll give you a page number, stuff like that. So we have an hour and a half. I am bolting at 3:30 because I got to go pick up my kids. So on 3:30, I'm out the door. So if you have a question in your brain, ask me before 3:30, not as I'm running out the door at 3:30. Cool? Yes. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to start with why you would want generational wealth and why you want buying power and why you want all those things, which is the big why. Everyone talks about big why, all that stuff. And I get it. It's very hard to determine what it is. But I'm going to ask you 3 questions. We're only going to take a few minutes on this, but there's going to be a few questions I'm going to ask you. I'd love it if you could just write them down, because this is something you want to think about later, not just in a few minutes. Okay. So my question is, and if you've heard me talk about big why before, you know what I'm going to say. The question is, if now you, like you as a person, if you had, so you can write I in your notes, if I, right? If I had all of the time, all of the money, and all of the love, which are usually the top 3 things people desire, what would you do with your time? Okay, now what I'm specifically saying is you can do whatever you want. Like there's no money factor. There's no love factor. There's no time factor. You're not saying, oh, I've got to do this. I got to go to work. I got to be here. I got to go there. What is it that you're passionate about doing? And time and money and love are not a factor. What would you actually do with your time? Okay, so that's a question for you to think deeply about and know what you want to do. Okay, so that's the first question. The second question around that is, it's a selfish question. So I'd write selfish question, right? What do you personally get out of that? So Steve, what does Steve get? So like you're doing this with your time. That's great. I'll just throw something out there. Okay, your goal, Steve, is to, create wells in a country in Africa, and that's what you want to do. So what do you get out of it? Okay, so I'm being really specific. Like, how does that affect you? Oh, I feel good. Okay, that's great. I want to know this is a selfish question. What do you get out of it? Okay, so when you ask yourself that question, think like that. Okay, the second question around that is a little bit broader, is that what does your community get? What does your just local community get? We're talking about big why just for a second, a couple minutes on that, because it'll lead back to that. This whole conversation, I promise, will become full circle in the end. I thought about this long and hard about how I'm going to present this conversation today. Okay, so what does your community get? The third question is, what does the world get out of it? Okay, so that's something that you want to start thinking about, and you want to think about later. This is something you want to process. You don't want to do it quickly. Okay, so you're going to have the reason you want to do these things behind this entire conversation, and that's where you're going to get that information from. Okay, with your big why. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is vision board, and I've talked to Steve about it. I'm a huge advocate of vision board, specifically on a 1-page document. Gary says that if you're going to have anything like that, you got to have it on 1 page. It's got to be easy to read, and you must share it. Here's the biggest thing. If Steve, because I shared it with you. Yeah. If we've had talks about vision board, I've shared it with you, right? I've shared my vision board. I did my 2023. Then I shared it with Jason. Oh, I'll share it, but I shared my other ones with you, right? Yes. When we talked about it, I shared it with you instantly, right? Within minutes. Because my thought is, what I know is that when you have a goal and then you share it with others and it's in writing, your chances of getting it are dramatically higher than if you just keep it inside by yourself, right? And if you create the vision board with your family, it's even more powerful. right? So you share it with your friends, your family. You're like, hey, look at what I want to do. Look at what I'm trying to accomplish for my year, for my generational wealth, right? And you share it. So I'll hold it up. And again, I'm happy to share it with the whole group. I have it on my phone. I have it on my desk. I have it in my office. I've shared it with a ton of people. Let me pull it up for you guys. So that's my 2023 vision board right there. It's in full color. It's all the things that I want to accomplish in 2023, the big things, right? It talks top for me is church, serving, relationship. I'm writing a book. I know you will too. I know you will. Just vacations that I'm taking that are already booked and paid for, in the whole year. And it talks about how I'm gonna have my contractor license on there. It talks about how many homes I'm gonna own to hold, that I'm getting passive income from there. It talks about market center investor, other passive income. It talks about how many houses I'm gonna build in Cape Coral, how many houses I'm gonna build in Buckingham and Lehigh, how many duplexes I'm gonna buy, how much dollars I'm gonna get from real estate sales. So it's right there, one general thing. What's cool about doing this and sharing it is that when you have that bad day, we're all in real estate, right? Everyone's here for real estate sales. So when you have that bad day, a customer calls you and you're the bad guy because Corey, you should have told them what you didn't tell them and they're mad about it or whatever. You just look at this and you're like, okay, that doesn't matter. I'm still getting this, right? I'm still getting that. That deal doesn't really matter. I don't want that to happen, but that doesn't matter. That's not going to stop me from getting my goal, right? So by doing this, and the cool thing is like, that's 2023, that's 2022, that's 2021. I go back and look, and it's cool because I see how things have changed, right? And you see how you've kind of morphed into where you want to go. And you're bored now, it's no time better to start now. I'm happy to make yours for you. It's good for accountability. I'm offering this to you. If you give me on a sheet of paper, handwritten, didn't I do it for you?
Yeah.
Okay. How long did it take me to get back to you? Like a day, right? Yeah. So if you don't have, you can do it right on Apple product. It's simple. You just put it on one page. What your goal is for the year, big stuff, big items. When you look back at 2023, the last day, New Year's Eve, and you say, wow, that was a great year. What happened? That's your question. That's how you figure out what's on that. Right? Cool? Yeah. All right. So vision board. Now let's talk about the path of money. You should all have that in your hand right there. Right? Path of money. Everyone have it? Yeah. Path of money is on page 129 in the MREI, so Millionaire Real Estate Investor book. You new to Keller Williams, this is what it looks like. Millionaire Real Estate Investor. I would absolutely recommend reading this like 10 times in a row, not just once. I would also listen to it on Audible. It's also cool to give clients. It's cool to give the clients, especially investors, right? Or people thinking about investing in real estate. This path of money, guys, I carry this page. This might not work. Look, this is a KWU thing. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I carry this on me everywhere I go. I promise you, like it is with me. You can stop me in public anytime if you see me. It's on me. Like I keep it folded. You can see it's been folded 9 times. I keep it in my folder. I stare at this all day long. Jay Papasan said that this changed his life in the podcast. And it definitely changed mine. This document. It seems crazy to say that, and it absolutely has, because the more you stare at it, it just puts you in that position. We're going to talk about what this means. So you all got it right there, right? All right, I'm going to draw this out, and I want to redraw it, not to waste time, but to have a conversation about it. Okay. So path of money, and then the first thing up there at the top on the left is what? Human capital, which is what? You work for the money. Okay. The second thing over there is capital assets, right? What does that say next to it? The money works for you. So when we're talking about wealth building, it's all this. It's all that. It's not this. It's not that. That helps you get the money to fund those things, but it's absolutely that. I'm going to play a clip right here from Gary Keller's podcast. and I'm gonna put it next to this computer so everyone can hear it. I would love you to, if you've heard it before, cool. That's awesome. It's only where it is, it's on episode 3. If you want to write that down, it's episode 3 of the latest series, and it's from 2:20 to 4:08. Okay, so it's 1 minute and 48 seconds. Can you guys hang me for 1 minute and 48 seconds? A minute and 48 seconds. Okay, so I'm telling you the time so that we're not thinking how long is this going to be. Take notes. Okay, I would love you to take notes, and I want to take some ahas around these notes. Everyone cool with that? All right, so again, you can go back and listen to it because I told you where it is.
A and point B. And point A is how we all start working for money, and how the goal, right? That first episode we talked about this, is to get to a place where our money is working for us, so that finance is our mission in life.
Yeah, so let's walk. That's absolutely right. So let's walk through this. So let's do a verbal explanation of this sheet of paper. So it's the path of money, and you have 2 sources of money that come into your life. It's human capital and capital assets. So human capital is you work for your money, and capital assets is your money works for you. So the way I think about that is that here I am. I need money to come into my life. There's 2 ways it's going to come in. It's going to come in. I work for money, and the other one is my money is going to work for money. Either way, no matter how I get money into my life, I now have money. I have what I call cash flow. And there are 4 choices I can do with cash flow. I can invest it, I can save it, I can donate it, and I can spend it. Those are my choices, right? And what you and I would teach is that you should always pay yourself first. So we put investing at the beginning, and we say, decide how much you think you need to invest to get where you need to go with your freedom money, and then the rest you have to live on, and that is spend it, save it, and donate it. So when you decide to invest, there are 2 things you can do with it. You only really have 2 fundamental choices about investing money, Jay, and that is you can lend it or you can buy things with it. So you can lend your money out to individuals who are then going to buy the way turn around and most likely invest it again, right? And or you can buy things that you own, okay? So you have 2 basic positions that you take in life with money, and that is passive or active. So you can passively lend or passively own, and you can actively lend or actively own.
Let's give some people some examples. Like I'm following you. It's simple and clear. I'm going to invest. I'm either going to lend or I'm going to buy something to own it. And I can do that passively or actively.
Okay, I lied. I went 10 seconds over. So where are we at with that? Financial returns in the end. Give me a few ahas just right there, what you've heard so far, or just comments around what we've heard so far.
Whatever money you're getting, you're either you can save it, you can spend it, you can donate it. When you're investing the money, you can lend it or you can buy things to own.
Right.
You can either passively lend it or you passively own it.
Right. And here's the thing, Steve. When you look at this chart, the thing is that most people stop right here. That's it. They don't go below that line, right? They're either spending all their money, some's in the bank, maybe some's donated. You hope that's happening with them. And they might not even go to investing, period. So here's a little exercise. This is for you personally. I don't even want to know your numbers. Don't tell me your numbers, but you need to know your numbers. What does it cost you to live the current, we've talked about this, to live the current lifestyle that you live? And I'm going to tell you exactly how to figure it out. Okay. If you have a mortgage, how much is your mortgage payment? If you have cars, I would take notes. You don't have to do the math equation right now, but just write this down. How much is your mortgage? How much is your cars? How much is your insurance? How much is your health insurance, car insurance? Every single bill, take the time and go through exactly how much you spend every single month on your current lifestyle, right? Everyone has a current lifestyle. Like what I mean specifically is you live a certain way. You live in a certain area, you live a certain way, you take a certain amount of trips, right?
If you get ice cream, include ice cream.
Everything you spend money on, everything you spend money on. I'll give you some crazy examples to make sure that you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'd be willing to bet that everyone here is not homeless. Okay? I also have a really good, I also bet that this is almost an obnoxious statement, but I want to say it. I'll say it like this. I'll be willing to bet that not one of you owns a Boeing 747 private jet like Trump, or whatever that thing he's got, right? I'll be willing to bet that no one in here owns that. Right? That's an obnoxious statement, but I want you to understand where I'm coming from. You have a current lifestyle that you're in right now. That is based on the amount of money that you have incoming and you're spending every month, yes or no? Right? Because if you won the lottery and you had an extra $1 billion, your lifestyle might change. Yes, we're on the same page, right? These are just the facts. So on the current lifestyle that you have, what is it going to take for you to fund that lifestyle? There's a number, right? Is there a number? You all probably know around what your number is, but I bet most of you don't know your exact number. And I'm not talking about tax time. I'm talking about how much it costs you to live your life. Right? So let's just call that X. Good?
Yeah.
That's X. The thing what happens is that X is spent every single month. And there's not much extra. And the difference between people that get wealthy, long-term generational wealth, this is another just harsh statement. The big difference is that X should be, so this is income, right? Actually, I'm going to say it differently. That's spent. Sorry. That's spent money. That should be 50% of what you bring in. Okay? It should be 50%. What you're spending should be half of what you actually bring in. At the bottom, it should be 80%. So somewhere between 80% and 50% is what you should be spending. So no more than, and I'm talking about for that, and for that. Those three things right there should be between 50% and 80%. It doesn't matter what you make. And that sounds like a crazy question. It doesn't matter what matters is how much are you spending from what you're making. Right? I know you've heard this before on different seminars, but it's absolute fact, because if you don't have money, you're going to be in the exact same position today as you're going to be in 10 years from now and 20 until you die. You'll be in 100% the exact same position if you're spending 100% of what you're getting and you're not putting to work with money working for you. It goes fast when you're saving to invest 20 to 50% of your money you're making. This goes really fast. I've seen it. I've lived it. Right. And there's also been times that this was 100 for me. Many times, many years. We had my license in 99, many years. Great. I did that great deal. I've done deals where I've made $100,000 commission, one deal. And I'm sure you've all done amazing deals, and you will, right? Guess what? When you spend it all, who cares? Right? Who cares what you do? I say that like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you had an amazing banner year. If you spend every dollar, it's pointless. Or you blow it on cars or whatever it is, doesn't matter. You spent the money. We're all good there. Any ahas around that so far? But it's really specific, Steve. It's like if this is something that you really want to go after, you will absolutely get every expense down on a piece of paper, one paper, know your number, know your income, and know that this amount of money is going to invest and that money can grow. It has to be like that, because if it doesn't do that, then it's right back to just you're in the exact same position. So I believe you're all here to get ahead, right? And you could do one more deal and have a great GCI, and all that's great. Nothing matters as much as not spending the money you're making. Yeah. Right. Okay. So Gary talked about this freedom money. He said he talks about a freedom number. Who's heard that before? Freedom number. You guys all heard it. All right. Let's just do a clip around that real fast. This is on episode 1. And it's 105 to 311, so it's only 2 minutes. episode 105.
Question, and that is, so why do you need money?
Mhm.
Because what I've discovered is that whether you're an individual, or whether you're a business, if you don't know why you need money, you'll never have enough, and it will make you irrational about how you go about trying to get it and what you do with it. So I kind of have this thought in my head, right? The true purpose of financial wealth. And to me, it's to finance the material foundation necessary for you to achieve your personal mission for your life. So let me say that again. So for me, the purpose, the real purpose of financial wealth is for you to be able to finance your personal mission for your life. Which, by the way, well, here's the thing. If you don't have a purpose for your life, you don't have a mission for your life, then you can never be financially wealthy. By my definition, I've boxed you into a trap. Okay? I've said, if you, by the way, because the way I look at it is, if you don't know what you're going to do with it, you'll never have enough.
We had the same conundrum with the one thing. We had to define success. And I remember our simple definition was success was getting what you want. And the discovery was a lot of people aren't very clear about what they want. Right.
That's right. It's hard to be successful if you don't know what you want. And it's very hard to declare that you're financially wealthy if you don't know what you would do with it. So again, it's a true kind of a true purpose of financial wealth would be to be able to pay for the material foundation necessary for you to achieve your goal in life, your mission in life, your purpose in life, right? And so if I flip it and you say, okay, well, Gary, then what's a financially wealthy person? I'm going to say it very succinctly. I'm going to say, Jay, it's somebody who's accumulated the wealth that delivers the unearned income, the passive income necessary to become self-actualized and achieve their personal life mission.
So,
super significant.
so he said that accumulated wealth to obtain the unearned income equivalent to achieve mission or purpose in life. Let's break that down. So what he's talking about is, what he's really saying is that when this investing goes to one of these things, and so that's active, right? So that means you're working, so that's not unearned income. So passive, so when this column, when you go from here down to here, there's money and it goes back and just keeps circulating and circulating and circulating. That's what he's really saying. And if that's kind of confusing, ask, or let's talk about it. What are ahas you have around that right there? Just what he said. Yeah, so real estate, you own real estate, right? So you have a property manager managing your properties every month. Whether you have a loan or not, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because if you have a loan, then that's amount that goes back to how much you owe. But as long as you're positive cash flow, right? So either way, you look at your bank account and that bank account's growing every single month from rental income, and you're not managing the property. A property manager is managing that property. They're handling every situation around it. They're figuring it out with the tenants. They're doing all that stuff, and you just get money in your account. That's one example. One example. Another we can talk.
At the bottom, you say about how goes from financial returns all the way.
Yeah, and yes, because so let's say you're positive cash flow on a property, give me a number how much you positive.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The profit, that's our all we're getting.
Yeah, because what he said at the beginning is it doesn't matter how money comes in, money's coming in from the top. It's like a funnel. So that money that you get from the property, could you then spend it on a car or spend it on a trip? Well, that's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, right? That's not going back in. It's going to keep coming in, but that's not great. That's not making a greater purpose for what you're trying to achieve, which is that. This is the definition right here. So we talked about it, Jason, the other day, is he says that the goalposts keep getting wider. You know what that means? No,
I didn't say anything.
they say it on the podcast.
You summarize
Yeah, they say the goalpost, a lot of us in real estate, the goalposts keep getting wider, and it's hard to envision because goalposts, I'm thinking, all right, is it soccer they're talking about? Is it football? Like, what are they talking about? I think really what they're trying to say is that the goal, the amount of money that you want to obtain keeps getting, as far as working for it, keeps getting so big that you're never satisfied. Like, how do you know that you've made it? How do you know that you've hit where you want to hit? You just keep working and working and working. Had your license since 92, working and working and working. You know, you can say that 10 years from now, you can say that 20 years from now. When is enough's enough? You know that by defining what?
Cool.
Your freedom number. Specifically that, which is the definition of what does that mean? What's the freedom number?
Passive income on your life.
Yes. Current lifestyle.
Current.
Current lifestyle. So let's kind of bring it to a different understanding. Here's your current lifestyle. Your current lifestyle costs X amount every month, right? Your passive income funds X amount per month. Okay, this is great. I'm bored. I want to do more things with my life. I want to be able to help more people. I want to be able to do more things. I want to be able to go on more trips. I want to buy the giant jet. I'm just making a joke, right? Like I want to go beyond my current lifestyle. How do you do it?
Get the machine back into gear.
That's exactly it. You kick the machine back in gear. You say to yourself, I need to get more what? Passive income. That's wealth. There's rich and then there's wealth. There's a lot of rich realtors. They're not wealthy. Because guess what happens when they stop selling houses? Yeah, the well's dry.
Or they're trying to appear rich, or they're trying to appear well.
Yeah, and that's a whole other thing. I'm just saying, like, if without how they're actually faking on social media or whatever it is, whatever they're giving off the perception of, there's a reality around what they really are, which is they're either rich or wealthy or both, right? And rich, we can all be rich in real estate, but we cannot all be wealthy unless you actually have your money working for you. Because you break your leg, you get in a wreck, something happens to you, you lose your voice, whatever, it's going to stop you or slow you down from selling those houses, right? You know, it's not going to slow you down from getting the money. Passive income, true passive income. The money still comes in, generational wealth, all those things. What ahas, questions? Because I have more to talk about, but I don't want to go ahead until I understand that we're all on the same page. And let's have this as an open discussion because that's the way to do it. Yeah.
I really liked how they said, if you don't know what to do with it, you'll never have enough. And I think being young and unsure, like what I do in my future.
Yeah.
Is important that I set a goal for myself, that I know what the lifestyle is that I want to achieve.
Exactly. And it's cool that, I mean, it's totally fine that you say, okay, here I am, I'm this old today, whatever age we all are, doesn't matter. Here's my current lifestyle that I want. Here's the X number, right? Here's my amount that I need to fund my current lifestyle. I know I need to do these things to get X coming in, right? To replace me working for it, right? Who says that can't change in 2 years or 3 years? It will. I look at my vision board, it's changed every year, it's changed. The thing though, is that to have that kind of satisfaction, because I bet you're like me, that you're like, oh, it's never enough. It's just never enough. You know, you're always grinding, and, you know, got to make the calls today and got to do this. It's never enough. It will never be enough unless you know exactly how much you take the time with your family, or if you're single, that's fine too, but whoever's involved closest to you in your life, you take the time and you say, I need this much amount every single month. I can work for it, or I can go after it passively. One way is real estate. There's lots of ways. Look at the sheet, right? It talks about money market, CDs, bonds, stocks, REITs, mutual funds, all sorts of stuff, right? For me, I chose to focus on just two, which is, I'll give you a book. I think, Corey, you know this book, Simple Path to Wealth. We talked about it. J.L. Collins. Gary's only recommended, I don't know, that I know 4 or 5 books outside of the Keller Inc. books, right? That I know it since I've been in KW. I've only heard him talk about just 3 or 4, maybe 5 books, maybe. 2 of the books are The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. And I'll give you a summary of the book. You ready? Buy VTSAX, which is Vanguard Total Stock Index Fund and World Shares, United States. Vanguard. It is a mutual fund that averages 10.8% every year since the stock market, since it's been around. Very low fees. You put your money in there and let it compound year after year after year. This is down, by the way, this year, like 2.9%. No more. This year, I think it's down like 12%. It's insane, a lot. But if you read the book, which you're going to hear, I'll give you another couple lines of the book summary, is that this is not a put it in and take it out. It's in any 10-year period. This is what he says. I don't want to discourage you from reading the book by telling you a summary, but in any 10-year period, it will generate 10.8% compounded interest every single year over year, no matter what 10-year period. You got to read the book. But you got to read the book. Simple Path to Wealth, J.L. Collins, amazing book. Gary recommended it. It is not picking stocks. It's picking, you know what it's picking? It's picking the United States. That's what you're choosing. You're choosing to believe in you're betting on the United States, not a stock. That's what that is. Okay. But read the book, right? Because I don't want to take away from the amazing book. We're gonna say something.
I was gonna say real estate. He says real estate does the same thing. It's in your period goes.
Yeah.
The growth goes ups and downs, but real estate is the other.
Yeah, 6.6% average appreciation real estate. That's what they say. I know ours crazy, right? The other book that he recommends is The Psychology of Money. If you haven't read that one by Morgan Housel, I would definitely read that. I have those books, like I just constantly reading and listening to his books all nonstop, just over and over and over again. So what I chose to do is I have money in that VTSAX. So we're talking about, that's absolutely just passive investing. So I take a portion of this, right? And I put it right into that every single month, no matter if the stock market is down or up or whatever. That's what I do. I'm not saying for you to do it, but that's what I do. The other part is I take a lot of that and I now put that into real estate and buying houses, buying flips still. Corey still doing that. Just bought one a few weeks ago. Building houses and holding houses is how I do it. So real estate, right? All real estate. Some of it's active, some of it's passive. And I'm getting to where that is fully funded. I could actually be there right now, but I'm choosing to play with the money to make larger gains than having the money just get me the X. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm pushing the envelope. I still have the energy to do it, right? So, but that's the goal but I have a piece because, and this plan, to do this plan, you could have this set up in less than 5 years from wherever you are. Doesn't matter if you have $0 in the bank and you have 0 assets, you could most likely get to, because the thing is, here's the cool thing, is if you really have, and I don't know anyone's financial situation. I don't want to know, like that's up to you. But if you have 0 assets, 0 in the bank, 0 deals, 0, 0, 0, 0, like starting from scratch, like you got nothing going on. Well, most likely your lifestyle is similar, right? It's like a similar, you're not spending amounts of money because you don't have it. So like you could easily replace that and your current lifestyle in a quick amount of time because you don't have much going on because you're at 0. Does that make sense how I'm saying it? So if you have a little bit of money, you got a little bit of time and your lifestyle is a little bit, you can easily replace that too, because that's where you are. Is that clicking how I'm saying it? If I had to replace, I'm just going to say, I don't want to say Donald Trump. I don't want to use him. Give me another person to name. Doesn't Richard. All right, Richard Branson. If I want to replace Richard Branson's lifestyle, I got some work to do, right? Like I'm not even a fraction of where I need to be to replace his life. So what I'm trying to say is, in a very quick amount of time, you could be wealthy and financially free just by using these concepts, because your current lifestyle is probably correlated to what you have now. Anybody, is that clicking?
It changes.
Yeah, it changes. So the goal is, as quick as you can, get to where you are fully funded, financially free, freedom number done. You should be able to do that in a couple of years. If you really just think about it, you plan it and you do it, then you say, okay, I want a better lifestyle. How can I do it? And then you just keep adding assets to give you more passive income. Specifically real estate, you guys, we're in the market of buying and selling houses to other people, right? The deals come across our desk first. They come across our office's desk first. They come across our peers' desk first. Michelle, did we ever do a deal together?
Yeah.
What happened to that deal? Tell them. How much was that deal?
No, I randomly emailed one with somebody who said, I need to sell my condo, no idea who it was, I looked back, somebody way like 6 years ago, I went to school. And so I called her, burned down, it's fire. Wow. And so I went to Adrian and said this situation, and it actually turned out that it was more like a villa style, and Adrian and I went to see it.
No, you said, what's the lockbox combination?
It was the one.
There's no doors. There's no windows. It was concrete block.
All there was walls, so there's nothing, no roof, there's nothing. So what we did was we came up with a number that would be a bit off, how it was right then.
40 grand. And I paid you 10,000 commission.
Yeah.
I remember. So I paid Michelle 25% commission. And we're realtors together in the same office, friends, right down the hall from each other. And as a buyer, I paid 25% commission. And happy to do it, right? Because I sold that one for
How much did we make on it?
like 150.
It was great, it's all the way we were tech conferences.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Michelle should have bought that herself, first of all. We're all in a position of time. And let's talk about that, because if the deal, if you could have come to me and said, hey, if you fund it, we'll split it. And I want 20% of the deal. I'm not saying I was waiting for you to say that. And I'm just saying there's ways that when you find a deal, I'm gonna give you a pet peeve of mine. And this is like, hope if you've done it, cool, just realize what you're doing. You ever seen the realtors that post on social media and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I just made my seller, pick a number, $100,000. I just made my seller and I just sold them this house 3 months ago. And they're so excited and, picture, selfie shot. I'm like, how are you not embarrassed to post that? How's that? How are you even like, how is that okay to post that? And everyone, oh, good job. That's amazing. But what? That was your deal. And you gave it away. Not to mention you got commission. So how good could that deal been? Right? That's nuts. That's crazy talk to me. And they're like bragging about it. I'm like, you should be like hiding under a rock about that. It's about thinking differently, guys. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's about having clarity about what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish.
It's the risk, though. They played with somebody else's money, so they weren't.
So let's talk about risk. That's always a thing. Risk, fear, didn't have it, didn't know, didn't have the resources. I don't buy it because the numbers will tell you. The numbers will eliminate your fear. How many conversations we have? Yeah, Steve, can I share or is it okay? Share like. So Steve's everything I can share. All right, so Steve came to me, he's like, hey, I want to build wealth, I want to do this stuff. I said, all right, well, and we started talking about, how to fund something like that. And is it okay? Sure.
Well, how deep is
No, I'm not gonna rip your part. But I'll go easy on you. But you went and got an equity line in your house. You got a good rate. You got at the time where the rates weren't that. You got money. So you have money sitting there ready to go. And you're like, I closed on my equity line. I'm like, great. What did I say?
Where's the property?
Where's the property? What are you buying? Where's the property? What are you buying? Where's the address? And I didn't find one yet. Steve, since then, man, I bought a lot of properties.
Yeah.
Right. And so the thing is that, it wasn't a fear about how to get the money. You found the money. Okay. That was a fear. Couldn't get the money. You got the money. And then, check out this one. And when you send me an address, what do I say?
It's cash flow.
What's cash flow?
Yeah.
What's cash flow? Every time. here's the Zillow link. I don't care about the Zillow link. What's the cash flow? What do the numbers say? And when you're talking about fear, oh, I don't know. You know what's fearful to me? Living life like that forever. That's way scarier to me. This is way scarier than me when people I know and you guys all know that are working until they die, like the day they die. That happens all the time. I guarantee everyone in this room knows someone that is working every single day until their deathbed, and there's no way out of it, and that's it. And that's what's gonna happen. And that's what's gonna happen to them.
I'll give you.
That's the whole world. So that's way more scarier than screwing up on one real estate deal. Where, by the way, you'll probably get a loan and you'll probably get an appraisal where you're not even the one that's seeing if it's worth it. The bank is. Because if you get a loan, you're not buying it. Who's buying it? The bank. So it's really just about you having clarity on, okay, because guys, guess what? You're gonna wake up one day, if hopefully it's today, right now, that this is not an option. It can't be an option. You know, someone said, I heard this the other day, they said, well, okay, raise your hand. What's middle age? What age is that? Tell me, what age is middle age?
45.
Nope, nope.
About 30.
Tell me what middle age is.
About 35.
It's 35. Why is it 35?
No, because projected lifespan is 70, 72.
That's exactly right. You're exactly right. So if,
That's true.
hey Google, what's the average age a man lives in the United States?
36.8 years.
Well, that's. Oh, that's median age. That's median age. So 72. Right? So 72. Hey, that actually answered our question. That answered our question. 36 years old, man. And women, it's a little bit more, right? It's like 77. No, I think they're higher. They go, yeah, there's more doctors. My point is that if you haven't started on this path, when do you start this path? That's the question I have for you, is that if you haven't started on the path to be financially free, to being wealthy, because Gary's definition was accumulating the wealth, an unearned income that's equivalent to achieve your mission, your purpose in life. So for me, that starts with, I don't have to work anymore if I don't want to. That's the very first thing that starts with. What's your number? So if you're taking notes, I would say, what is my freedom number? You have to know that. You have to know it like this. You have to know your number, right? Because you don't want to wake up and you're still working. You don't want to go through your real estate career and the goalpost keeps getting wider. That's no fun. That's stressful. That's really stressful. You'll never be satisfied. You will never internally be, wow, you know what? Things are going to be okay. It's fine. You'll never have that because it's always like that one more deal, grinding. I can say this because I've been in real estate for 24 years, quarter of a century almost. I can say that it is a grind every single day. It doesn't change. It hasn't changed since 99 and it's not going to change. If you're in this profession, you're going to grind it out. You will. And you know, that one deal that you were counting on, there was a huge commission that fell through. It eats you up inside. You know when it doesn't eat you up inside? When you know this defined and when you got your vision board defined, because you can say to yourself, am I going to be okay at the end of the year? Am I still going to, at the end of the year, look back and say, I accomplished all the things I want to accomplish, right? Any ahas so far? I know I'm direct, but I don't want to be any other way. Time's ticking, right? What ahas you guys have? There's got to be some. Huh? Show you how? I can show you how I do it. That's what I know. I know what. It's simple. It's buying investment properties. It's buying VTSAX. It's buying investment properties specifically that I know are going to cash flow. So if I know they're going to cash flow and I know my number, I know how many properties I need to get to that number. It's very simple. Very, very simple. How do I fund the properties? Do real estate deals. You guys have unimaginable income you can get. Sell properties, take the income, don't spend it all, right? Don't spend all your money you make. take a portion of that is set in stone. I am gonna fund my real estate deals. You take that money, you buy investment properties that cash flow, right? You know you can find a property if you wanted to.
Well,
I'm picking on you, but you know you can. You know that they're out there. There are properties out there right now that you can buy that you put the money down and you get a bank loan on it and they will cash flow. They're out there. They're all over the place. They're all over. They will cash flow positive. Let me tell you the one thing I learned too. It's never the perfect scenario, right? It's never like your dream property. There's always something. Does it cash flow? Yes, it's yes or no. It's one or the other. If it doesn't, out. If it does, think about it, consider it. Because if you don't do it, then you're not getting to that. You're not getting to that. Yeah.
What kind of cash flow are you looking for?
So that's a great question.
yes.
It's not just about cash flow too, it's about cash on cash return.
Right.
So let's talk, what's the difference, right? Does everyone know what, I'm just gonna say, cash on cash return. Okay, there's a difference between what cash on cash return is, and then like someone says, oh yeah, this is like a cap rate, right? Because cap rate, they say if it's all cash, no financing, what's your percentage of you're gonna make? So cash on cash return, let's just do an example. Is that good? Let's do an easy example. So if you got five, let me erase, is it okay if I erase this stuff? You guys got all this? This is just what you got in your hand anyways. See, now we're talking, this is what I can talk about this all day. All right, so let's use, how many duplexes are there in Lehigh for 500 grand right now? A bunch, right? You could pick one out of a hat. Right? 480 to 520. I know that because that's where I'm buying stuff, right? They're there. Yes? You could buy one full price and get it right now. Okay. So let's use something. You give me the numbers. Because I know you know this market.
450.
Okay, 450. Okay. So what percent do we need to put down to get a bank loan on that property?
10%.
Probably 20.
Yeah.
Probably 20, 25 even. I do, just so you know, I do 35. That I do. Because I get commercial loans. I don't get any more residential. The reason I get commercial loans is I get 100 of them, I get 1,000 of them. When you're getting a regular loan, conventional loan, you can only have 10, including your primary, or including whatever else you have.
And your commercial guy wants 35.
Commercial, I can have as many.
But he wants 35%.
He wants 35%.
What are the
He wants 35% of what I paid. So if I build it, he wants 35% of what I paid. If I build it, if I bought it, whatever it is, he wants 35%. That's just what he does. I also like 35% because I can sleep at night. Because I know that if the market dips, I have 35% equity, not 20 or 10 or whatever. But let's just use 20%, because I know you can get that, right? Or even 25, doesn't matter. 20% of that number is what?
90 grand.
90 grand. Okay, where are you gonna get the 90 grand? Selling real estate. Steve, does everyone in this room feel, hold on, does everyone feel that they're capable of somehow figuring out how to get 90 grand in the next year selling real estate? Yeah, the answer is heck yeah, you should be able to do that, right? And if you can't, Erica is gonna give you the path to do that, right? We're gonna put you with a coach. We're gonna figure it out. You should all be able to get $90,000. I'm talking about beyond what you're spending. You should be able to come with it. Let's say it took you 2 years. So what? 90 grand. All right. So then how much are you financing for it?
360.
360. Today's interest rates are what?
6.5%, 7%.
Yeah. So who can do that? Who can get a mortgage calculator out and do that real fast? How much are you spending on your mortgage? If you guys, can I say something? If you guys can't find this and do this quick, I would learn it. Because you're gonna be around investors that you're working with that want an answer quickly like that. So if you can't find it right now, Google mortgage calculator. You should all be like, bam. That's like, should be part of your lingo, right? I'm not, let me say, I'm not coming at you hard. I just want you to know that there's certain things that are expected of you as an agent, especially working with investors. You need to know those answers. Yeah.
23.95 principal interest.
Okay, so 23.95 a month. Now, who knows how to go to an amortization calculator? There's bankrate.com has one, amortization calculator. Jason, you know, I know you know. Tell me where I'm at in 10 years. How much do I owe on the 360 in 10 years? So amortization calculator, just Google it. In 10 years, the 360 drops to what? How much is owed to that bank in 10 years? Anybody know? You guys looking or should I look? So just Google, look, let me show you how to do it, because if you don't know this, you want to know. This is part of the path, right? This is part of the path. You need to understand these concepts. So just Google amortization calculator, right? Online. The very first thing that comes up, bank rate, right there. Just click that. You can put your loan amount right there. Well, something's wrong because we started with 360.
10 years and 37 grand.
37 grand. All right, thank you. So look, 37 grand. 37 grand off of that is what?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's the balance.
It's okay. We're good. We're good.
10 years.
We're good. What's owed?
360, right?
Yeah, what's owed in 10 years?
315, 778.
315. Can we just use easy numbers? So 316.
Sure.
Let's just use these numbers. 316 is owed in 10 years. You guys with me so far? Okay, how much did you pay off on that note in 10 years? 34,000? 34,000, right?
44,000. 44.
44,000. 44,000. How many months are in a year? 12, right? Times 10. There's 120 months in 10 years. 44,000 divided by 120 is what? $367 a month. Yes? Is the tenant giving you $367 a month? Paying down your note. The tenant is paying down your note. How much? $367 a month. You guys with me? I feel like I'm losing it. Okay. All right. The tenant is, I'm just gonna go a little slow. You got a loan for 360. At the end of 10 years, now it's worth 316. Like you owe the bank 316, right? You owe the bank 316. You paid off a certain amount of money, right? What it equals per month over a 10-year period, if you divide it by the amount of months in 10 years, it comes out to $367. So every single month, that tenant is paying down your mortgage $367. Okay, know that number, know how that works. It's two calculations. It's how much is your payment every month and an amortization calculator. It's simple, right? When you close with a mortgage, you actually get an amortization chart. Every mortgage has it. They tell you after 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. You can ask, if you have a loan right now, you can ask your bank. Is that wrong? It's good.
Oh, it's just not jiving in my head, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
Tell me, what am I doing wrong? Someone gave me the wrong number.
Your two occupants are paying you a hell of a lot more than $23.95 a month.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Okay, because you keep saying that your tenant's paying you $367 a month. Like,
Yeah.
it
So
should be way more than that.
So your tenant's paying your mortgage, right? And they're paying you profit. Right? So they're paying you a gross amount.
Correct.
Out of that amount is a mortgage.
Mhm.
That's one of your expenses, a mortgage. Out of that mortgage, your mortgage is going down $367 a month.
I got you.
Okay, so yeah, you're gonna have cash flow. That's here. Cash flow. There's basically three ways to make money on every property. I'm getting there. Okay, now back to court. How much are your tenants gonna pay you per side on that duplex?
Probably what, $2,500 a side.
I'm getting 2,200 and I feel like I'm getting a good rate. I've
I usually
seen,
pick a round number.
I think 22.
Okay.
22. So I'm being conservative, right? Because, this is a guy that knows that area real well. So what is my total gross amount every month? So duplex, 4,400. So 4,400 minus 2,395 is what? 2,005. Now I gotta pay tax and insurance, right? How much are my taxes? I'm picking on Court because he knows the area.
$6,750.
Okay.
Percent.
Let's round it to $7,000.
Okay.
Let's round to $7,000. How much is my insurance a year? $2,000. So 9,000. So my expenses on this unit, I'm not paying a water bill, right? Because it's what? It's well, right? And maybe I pay a small fee for like a salt guy, whatever, but it's nominal, right? So if it's $9,000 a year in expenses for that duplex, right? Divided by 12, it's $750. So I got 4,400 coming in gross. Then I got 2,395 on what? Mortgage. Right? And then I got $750 on taxes and insurance. And then there's one more fee out of there if I truly want to be passive, which is what? Management fee. So 4,400 a month, what's the typical management fee?
10%.
10%. How much is that?
440.
440. Do the math. Does this property cash flow? Let's see. So take that minus that, and what's my amount that I'm getting net every month? I'm being specific, right? Like these are actual properties that exist right now that you could buy today. You can all go buy one and there still will be more.
$815 a month.
All right, 815. Okay, how much did I put out of my pocket?
90 grand.
90 grand. All right, so there's two things you need to look at. What's 815 times 12? 9780. Just looking at that right there. What's the percent? So so let's just summarize. Out of my pocket, 90 grand. The bank gave me the rest, right? I bought a property that's on the market right now. You can go get one now. When it's all said and done, I profit $9,780. What percentage of that of my 90 grand?
10.8.
10.8. Here's where it gets better. First of all, is that a good percentage return as being an investor? Yes. Is it above inflation for now? Yes.
This
Right. So that's a good return on your money, right? And by the way, now I'm going to come back to this. That's why I want to kind of jump ahead. Am I really only getting that amount, or am I really getting 367 times 12? 4,400. So look, Corey, look how cool this is. So not only did I get the cash, but I also got tax-free $4,404 a year because that tenant paid down my note for me. This is like a secret that no one sees. I pay tax to the government that amount of money. I don't pay tax to the government that amount of money. Why? Why don't I pay on this?
Because it's near the law.
Wait, what?
They lock your law.
Yeah, it's not income. The government doesn't treat it like income, but is it income? Like, am I getting it? Yeah, is my net worth going up by that much? But I'm not getting taxed on it. How much percentage is that of that? A lot, right? It's like almost half. Okay, so when you to see if this deal is really worth it, the way you do it is you go like this: 9780 plus 4,404 is 14,184. How much is that percentage of my cash that I spent? It's almost 16%. So 16%. So when I spend 90 grand and I let it play and I have passive income, why is it passive? Because I have a property management doing it. So it's passive income. I take my 90 grand that I got from selling houses, I put it there. You can buy this house right now. Duplex. You put it there and you're getting 16% return on your money. Here's even more good news. Can I depreciate it?
Appreciation comes into play.
Can I write off the interest?
Yeah.
Is there a chance over 10 years that that's appreciate? So not only can I depreciate it, but my property may appreciate, right? Could. This appreciation, the problem is most people, when they think about investing, that's like the number one thing they think about. Oh, it's going to appreciate, it's going to go up. That's the last thing I think about. I don't even put that in the equation. If this, I don't care.
If it doesn't go, just keep it.
I don't care. I don't care if the property goes up $1. I mean, I like it to, don't get me wrong, I love it. If it doesn't, so what? And that's usually the number one, how much it can be worth in 5 years? Who cares? What do the numbers say? When you look at this, and you know this, so you know right now there's a duplex, so you can go, you get an extra 90 grand, you can make 16% interest. Try to show me another place you can make 16% interest rate on your money, plus depreciation, plus appreciation, plus mortgage interest. Right off. Show me another place that's better than that. Show me. So, okay, so let's say it's not this. What else do you do with your money? Gamble on the stock market?
Like buy Airbnb.
Yeah, but like, so that's active.
It's
My goal in life, like for work, is the quickest I can get to that. So if that's your goal, that's my goal, but I'm saying if you adopt what Gary says, what a lot of very smart people say, that your definition of wealth is when you accumulate wealth of unearned income to facilitate your lifestyle, your current lifestyle. Like you don't have to work anymore. Like you're done. Go to the beach every day. Now, I'm sure you won't because you're all driven people, but you could increase your lifestyle, right? Like whatever it is today, you can make it better, whatever that means to you. Everyone has a different way. You can change your lifestyle for the better, for your kids, for your generation. Now, Steve, if you kept that property for 20 years, do those numbers look even better? Yeah, because guess what happens with rents?
Well,
They go up
maybe more.
and the mortgage goes down. So the rents go up, the mortgages go down. You know, it's all good, right? It's really good. It gets really good, really, really, really good if you do it like that. Any ahas or questions? How we got to that? Okay. So here's the easiest thing. When you Google amortization calculator, I don't know how to figure out amortization. I don't know. What I know is I go to a website that has an amortization calculator.
A mortgage calculator is really,
There you go.
you can do calculation. Payments right here, and it's over here, and it gives you your entire.
Stephanie, you have a really good relationship with mortgage people. Ask them to do it. Don't even, you know, Rosa, right? Rosa? Hey, give me an amortization calculator on 300 grand, 400 grand, 500 grand, whatever. She'll give it to you like that, 2 seconds. That's all she does. She knows it. Just ask her. I don't know how to figure out amortization. What I know is when I look at 10 years, how much I owe in the bank, right? And then I'm like, okay, well, that's free money. How much am I really making on this property every single year? And by the way, so the 90 grand, that's pretty good cash on cash return, right? The bank's giving you the money.
So if I'm using HELOC to do that. how much-
So if Steve's using a HELOC and you're getting a mortgage, then you're gonna have a number right here for your HELOC payment. That's an additional amount, and then you see if the numbers work. So if you borrowed 90 grand at a certain percentage, whatever that amount is per month, you would add that to that first.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out how much my HELOC.
So there's fear, we talked about the reason we did all this is because it's fearful, what if the sky falls? So when you know the numbers like this, now show me a fear. Okay, the property burns down. you have insurance. Like what is the fear? Like really, if you think about like, what is the fear?
I think most people say I need that 90 grand. Some comes up tomorrow, you know, is that fear like the
Yes.
opportunity off? That's what most people.
Yeah, I need the 90 grand. So why do you need the 90 grand?
What if something happened to my dog, or house, tree?
Yeah.
It's all of this.
So that, I'm glad you brought that up. In my, okay, this will get kind of personal if it's cool, like about my own life. So I'm not gonna put anyone on the spot. So I grew up, as I said, my dad, architect, mom, a builder. I feel like we were like above average on how much as a kid, I got whatever I wanted, like played hockey, like not spoiled, but like, you know, I didn't like, we weren't starving or anything like that. Right. So I went to college and I said to myself, and this is not like a pat me on the back situation, this is reality. My dad had like, you know, my parents, right? So multiple heart surgeries, heart attacks, like almost died like a bunch of times since he was 40, right? And my parents, in the end, like they built a big house they couldn't afford, like none of this stuff, right? All it was the work for money. So for me, if I come off passionate about it, it's because I lived through a really bad time with my parents when I was 18, and they lost everything. And huge health problems for my dad, like bad, right? So I funded my own college by myself. Didn't ask for a penny from my parents since I was 18 years old. I've been on my own straight. Never asked my mom and dad for another money since I graduated high school. Right. So that's for me what drove me to be like, I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm not gonna let it happen to me, my kids, nobody. Yeah.
I'm having that wake up moment like the past year, 6 months or so, because my dad is like 70 and he's been renting for 12 years. And ever since I became a real estate agent, I'm like, you need to buy something. And
Yeah.
they're gonna jack the rent up. He's like, this makes sense. I'm very comfortable. My rent's so cheap. I'm like, okay, don't listen to me. And then just found out or his rent's going up.
Or the landlord kicked them out. One or the other.
They're basically kicking him out because he can no longer afford
Yeah.
the rent, and he's living on Social Security.
Yeah.
I'm like, and he's suffering. He has nowhere to go. He doesn't have savings. So I'm like, this is my big why of why I want to own real estate. You know?
Yeah. So yes, you're right, Steve. You have to be driven to do it.
Because I never want to be in a position where I'm like, where am I going to go?
So I want to go deeper on Jason's question because it's definitely something that drives me for sure. How much time we got? 3 or 9. So Jason, what your question was, it's going to take $90,000 to do that deal. And you said, what if I need the money?
Opportunity.
Yeah, what if I need the money? But you didn't say opportunity, you said something else.
I mean, just told people would say that in the world of, buyers, sellers, they would just, what if I need the money?
Okay, let's answer that. So I think about that all the time. But you didn't say deal, you said something happens like yeah, like your mind went right to.
The average consumer says, what if I needed for?
No, I like what you said. There's a problem and I need to fix it and there's the money. Okay, Keller Williams, what do we do every single month when the closeout happens? What do we do? Post-transmittal report. This is the way we run our market center. We do a post-transmittal report. We know exactly how much is in reserves. Okay, we know exactly what's 3 months is standard minimum. Okay, because that happened to me, what I told you about when I was 18, my reserve in my brain is a heck of a lot more than 3 months. Like what I can live on, it's years and years and like decade or more. So in other words, I could probably do a lot more than I'm doing now, but my internal struggle with what I lived through, my reserve balance in my brain is through the roof, more than anybody else would probably even conceive to like as a percentage, right? A month percentage, because I'm so fearful. I'm being real with you guys. Like I would never want that to happen again, what happened to me. So everyone's definition in their own being of how much reserve you need is different. So that's all I'll say to that is that, if your expenses, which is X, right? We talked about that, right? Your expenses are X. I don't know, if it's 10,000 a month, let's make up, it doesn't matter what the number is, it doesn't matter. If you're at 10,000 a month, or you're at 3,000 a month, it doesn't matter. So 3 months, you need 9,000. Once you get to 9,000, that's when you start saving for that. Right? If you're a 6-month reserve individual, it's just math, guys. So I'm trying to say, in the end, it's just math, right? So if you're at 10,000 a month and you're like, heck no, I need 6 months buffer. What if something happens? Okay, well, simple. Then you need 60,000, right? And when you hit 61,000, now you have 1,000 towards that. It's the same thing. Make sense? It's just numbers. And when you're talking about the fear, my fear is that my reserve's so like stupid, right? But for me, that's just because of what I lived through. Like it was massive trauma for my family, and it almost caused my dad to die like multiple times. Right? He's still kicking somehow with a new heart. Right? And you know, that's a whole nother story. My point is that caused me to be who I am in life, and all of your childhoods and the way you grew up caused you to have an internal definition around how you think about money, right? Is how you think about money is how you were grown up, raised, all the experiences in your life have it. But in the end, you can really put it down on paper with a few numbers, which is how much do you need for reserves? Okay, figure that out. We have 6 months, we have 9 months, whatever it is, put a number down, right? Like we run our entire market center here. Marco, every business really has that. Who was it? Was it Disney? No, it was Bill Gates. Bill Gates, when he started Microsoft, he had 1 year reserves forever, 1 year. I don't know if you guys heard podcasts on that, but Bill Gates, when he started Microsoft, all the way to say minimum 1 year reserves. So because maybe he had an experience, you know, early on of how businesses fail. And he's like, no way. I don't care what it is. We're going to have 1 year reserve sitting there no matter what. Keller Williams model, we run on 3 months reserves. Our region tries to push 4, 5, and 6 months reserves, but 3 months is a minimum reserve balance. Treat your economics the same way. Have a number. What is your reserve balance? So does that answer your question? What if I need the money? Is it tapping into your reserves? You need to know that. Right? So I outlined a couple specific ways, right? Like how you can generate wealth, how you can be financially free in a very short amount of time. Any questions around? Did anyone get more clarity out of the discussion today of what we talked about?
Thanks for that question.
Yeah.
Because you're doing your real estate sale, how often are you on a weekly basis? Are you actually looking or running numbers for invested property?
Oh, it's daily. It's multiple times a day.
So do you feel like you focus more on that, and then the sales just come as a secondary to the
At this point, yeah. When I was funding reserves, making sure the passive income numbers there, funding that, it was more just focused on real estate sales. Like I said, I've been grinding for like 95% of my career and not even thinking about any of this stuff at all. Like I just kept stacking the reserves, having money there sitting. By the way, if it sits in the bank, it's dead money. You guys all know that, right? It's a waste. It's not doing anything. You're losing money actually because of inflation. So, but I didn't care because I was so kind of traumatized by what happened to me. So if you guys know me a little bit, some of you do, I've flipped like 105 properties. No, actually it's like 110 now. I've done a lot of deals. So I just kept like a under the mattress type thinking. Seriously. Like not physically, but thinking like that. Like I didn't touch it. Like Jason, what if 90? Yeah. Yeah. I think like that. Like my fear was so great on that. But then I said, okay, well, when's enough's enough on that, you know, and when's the time to put the money to work? So, yeah.
Where's your reserve money sitting now?
Reserves is in just a checking account. Yeah, like a money market. But it's dead. I know that money is pointless.
Yeah.
It's not doing anything. So except I'm sitting there, yeah. Yeah, it's sitting, but every other money that I don't have like that, like, so if you open my account right now, you'd have personal checking, business checking, and then I own different LLCs, and then each have their own checking account, and then I have bucket 1, bucket 2, bucket 3, and then those are the reserve accounts. That's how I do it. Financial wealth by that definition in a very short amount of time. And if you've ever, you don't have to raise your hand and say anything, but if you've ever like internalized, oh my gosh, I'm grinding, I'm doing this, and where's this going and where's this getting me? It really all starts with the very first thing that we said, which was you have to know why you're doing it in the first place, right? Which is a big why. I gave you some questions to ask yourself on how you can figure that out. And secondly, it's like how you need to know how much you really need per month. How much is it that you need to fund your lifestyle passively? And you need to have a very specific number. Once you know that number, it's not hard to get. It's so easy to get for everyone. And I don't want to take that lightly, but your lifestyle is not far removed away from how your income is. So it's like, it's easy to get that number for every person. Does that make sense? How I'm saying that?
Even these groups, it's like super important as well. Honestly, if it wasn't for Jason, I wouldn't own investment property. It's just being in conversation with him and he's like explaining the numbers, realizing like you were able to.
Numbers, not making sure.
But I love what you said, because what you just said is so important, is that you talked about the numbers, and that takes all the fear away. You're always gonna have a little fear. It's especially doing it the first time. It's the unknown. It's like you didn't do it, so it's like a little scary. But when you know all the numbers, and listen, we got a really cool office with a lot of people that have done a lot of stuff that you could ask a lot of people. I'm happy to help. Show me show me the cash flow. What do I say to you? Show me the cash flow. Show me where it is. Give me the numbers. I'll tell you if it's worth it. You can any property.
You said that, and this one was a lot of that. So Adrian said, well, show me the deal and all the money will appear. So that's my guy for 11% doing that. Look at the property, look at the first point numbers, look at those things, and I'm like, you're right. The opportunities there, the money will appear. I don't know if I had to call Adrian or if I just saw some more real estate, but I figured at some point I gotta look through these deals, and then I just got obsessed with doing that. And now you get the money in your pockets, keep doing the same thing. You know, just
No, the money's not doing anything.
Oh, it's not. It's not.
I call them out. Like we're buddies. I can say that. Like if you have, it's the same thing as just having money in the bank. It's pointless. It's pointless to have money sitting doing nothing.
My fear was, again, I got into real estate pretty quick, and I started closing deals. I figured if I don't do something different now, I'll be the same place I was when I made a bunch of money every other.
Exactly.
They don't have anything else to show for. I got the car or whatever, but nothing really. Now I have locked up the properties that are just gonna sit there.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Use their investments.
I love Robert. You guys read Robert Kiyosaki books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, Cash Flow Card. I love his definition of liability and asset. You all know it? What's a liability?
A liability is that your bank.
That costs you money. What's an asset?
So something
Something that makes you money. So like if you like all these books that you all know, if you just kind of put it into like a, everyone's talking about almost the same thing, right? Gary talks about it, Robert Kiyosaki. Like if you just really pay attention to what they're saying, in the end, it all talks about like what is the whole point of you doing what you do every single day, and like what is the end game?
So you mentioned books. Can I ask you again 10 minutes? Can I have one question?
Yeah.
Have you read Rocket Fuel?
Not yet.
Who not how, I'm sure.
Rocket Fuel.
Yeah. Rocket Fuel.
I want to read it now.
The goal, I mean, it's different. Everybody's got a different reason, but for me, I'm a natural visionary.
Yeah.
And I realize I'm not an integrator or an implementer or an alterer. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things.
I don't agree with some of those, but go ahead.
Well, for some people, there's just my brain doesn't want to do these things. It just doesn't, it's not my natural.
Yeah.
I've done in my life. That's just not my natural. Anyway, so when I get to this point in my life, I wanted to ask you, who is your, I just see like other people have a person and a sidekick, right? I just see just leader, your mom, but she's been involved with this.
Yeah.
Who is your implementer, or if you have a virtual, or if you have an assistant we don't see, or who does your
No.
day-to-day, like making sure that bills are paid, it's the basics. I mean, what leverage can you do in your life? It's usually just a leader.
I had a guy, Andrew, and it was just always explaining something instead of just doing it myself. For me, it was just so much easier to just do it myself for me. No, I don't have anyone like that.
You've never had, you have an assistant with TC, but otherwise you don't have any
No.
property manager.
I have a property manager, yeah.
Well, construction manager or.
Oh, heck yeah, man. Yes.
Each task has a different.
Yeah.
TC, but you don't have an overall like cyberbacker in your pocket or a.
No.
Assistant in your house.
No, I see people around me that have a lot of people around them, and I see them paying a lot of bills for those people, and they're spending a lot of money for those people. It's about the net with me, the net number.
So you just don't see the fact that you don't feel like you have grown faster with the left.
No, I think I could have. I think we all, like I said, back to like the reserve, everyone has a different perception of how to run things. I'm tough, man, to deal with. I'm intense and I'll run people off fast. And I know that about myself. I just will. Like I'm too demanding.
So you just own that and you recognize.
Yeah, I know I know I'm a really demanding and intense person. And most people I hang out with like
Right.
daily, they'll run.
I mean, the fact that like Michael Burke had his guy in his room, that's not saying that kind of collaborative effort.
No, to me, like my brain, that's all waste of time.
Oh, can I ask you?
And I'm not saying, I should add to that. I don't think it's a waste of time at some certain levels, and there's a lot of people that have exceeded a lot, way more than what I have ever had.
You just choose.
For me, I've come to the point in my life, kind of like we kept talking, grinding, 24 years in real estate. I just want like peace now, right? Like, I think maybe if you rewind 10 years ago, I probably would have been seeking that at a high level, or I just want peace. I don't want, I want low risk. I don't want a lot of, anxiety. I don't really have anxiety. I've never had that. I want to be able to just be calm and I just want peacefulness in my life.
Yes.
For me, it's like, we're talking about that. Even as a real estate for like his personal investments, you're asking like someone's running his money, running deals for him, like that's like, and so I guess that's where I'm just trying to find like, what leverage are you talking about and what?
So yeah, I can define what I've got. So like if I have a general contractor building houses for me, then they are fully self-sufficient running that project. They give me reporting on how that's being run, fund the deal. There's communication, but that's handled.
I have
Good to see you.
I have this.
Yeah.
That's for running a real estate team. Adrian's not running a real estate team anymore. He's running
Yeah.
a real estate investment.
I mean, it looks
So like,
different.
he would never.
So here-
Here.
Here's-
Yeah. Clarifying the previous. Like, are you talking about for your summers or running a real estate team? You're
For-
talking about-
For Jason, I'll say it like this too. So for me, it's like every day I wake up and I have my office in my house now at this point, and I have everything set. Like I can say, all right, let me check this, let me check that, let me check that, let me check that. I can check a spreadsheet on a house like this with one builder. I have another spreadsheet. I can see what's happening. I can really quickly like see the overview of what's happening in my life. I can check my bank accounts.
So it's worth more to you to just own all that, be comfortable in that environment.
Yeah, it's like I can like physically check on everything within 10 minutes, anytime I want, multiple times a day. So it's,
Is that why you have a really cool team with it, or you kind of grows?
I just had a different approach. There's people like Heather Kane that has tons of agents and she does great with that. And that's her model, which is awesome for her. And she thrives on, I'm assuming she thrives on, having that interaction with the agent. For me, it was more like, yeah, just in the like, what's the bottom line with me? Like, where's the net? Where's the wealth? Where's the bottom line? One thing we didn't talk about was just having your net worth, growing up in grade school and high school, we had a thing called report card, right? And so where's your report card now? You know what it is? It's your financial statement. So where's that? So that to me, it's just that. So it's not, so what I'm trying to say is it's a slower less emergency process right now that I don't need a person to do that, because for me, I look at my vision board, I look at the, my financial statement, and I say, yeah, it's right there, and it's moving forward. And that's just my mind right now. Yeah.
What I hear, I've known Adrian for a while, right? And so a couple different things. That's not the norm.
Right.
So don't freak out. Holy shit, I could never do that. That's very, very unique. But I think it's Gary Keller that said, in order to accomplish what he's accomplished, you're generally missing three things, right? A person, a tool, or a system.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you're having a hard time kind of building something like that, chances are you're missing one of those three things.
Yeah.
Adrian is so unique because he's got two-thirds of that stuff covered just in his own brain, but that's not, right, that's not unique.
Weird.
No,
No, hey, it's a compliment. Yeah.
yeah, meant to be a total. compliment.
Yeah,
So,
and, yeah, go ahead.
so you know what I'm gonna ask you, because I've been bugging you about this. So I have my home, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to move back to the East Coast. That's like what's happening, I can rent my house for a really good cash flow right now.
Yeah, you know the numbers.
I know the numbers, so. That's why I haven't used my HELOC yet, because I want to buy another property back there. So that's why I haven't used HELOC. So what's your thoughts
So-
on that? What's your thoughts on that?
So when you have a family, especially with kids, you have to have a stable home environment. And I would base all of your decisions on that. If you don't have that, then the other stuff will get picky.
What do you mean by, what do you?
Like you have a kid
Yeah,
and probably more to come, I'm guessing. So you need to create a stable environment for the child and your wife.
yeah.
Because if you don't have that, the other stuff doesn't really matter too, right? So like for me, my wife and I, we have a deal, don't touch the house. Like the house is there until the kids are out of the house, I'm not touching my house. Don't you think I've said, let's sell it? I can't touch the house.
I don't want to.
I'm just saying like, that is a decision you and your wife need to make together.
Yeah,
That's my answer,
I got you.
is that if you're talking about your house, you can take money out of your house because that's not, you're touching your house, right? Like that's not taking your family out of that environment.
No,
But you need to have a stable home, I believe.
Call it nest egg or whatever.
Yeah, you need to have a place that's like a stable environment for your family. The rest is the fun, the rest is the play, right?
Yeah,
The play arena.
the thing for me is like my entire family lives over there, everyone, like my grandparents, my parents, like, so that's what's bothering me. And I know even though it's like my house is so affordable, it's such a nice spot, it's really hard to like decide, should we spend a little more and go back there and take the cash flow from this house? And I'm struggling pretty hard to do that.
You need to make the decision of where you're gonna go.
I think
Once you,
it's hard for me, it's very personal, the situation is not about.
no, I didn't,
Make a decision in front of-
Yeah. I didn't talk about any, I didn't talk about like any, I'll talk about my family, but none of what I talked about has anything to do with where we live.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to figure out, should I keep my home rented and buy another property